Hello, everyone. Welcome to January 27th afternoon devotional and Bible study. Before we get started, if you're with me here in Dufferin, there's some good news. Apparently, we've had 0 cases for 2 days in a row. So that's pretty exciting stuff. It gives a little bit of hope for what's around the corner. But for now, it doesn't mean that we are caseless. It just means no new cases. But for now, we're going to start with Jesus is calling for today, and then we're going to jump into the book of 1 Samuel, and I will be reading through chapter 11. Things sound like they're about to get really intense in that book. So hopefully you can stay through and read that with me. But for now, January 27th, 2021. Trust is a golden pathway to heaven. When you walk on this path, you live above your circumstances. My glorious light shines more brightly on those who follow this path of life. Dare to walk on the high road with me, for it is the most direct route to heaven. The low road is it's dangerous, twisting and turning in agonizing knots. The air hangs heavy and dark. Ominous clouds predominate. Relying on your own understanding will weigh you down. Trust in me absolutely, and I will make your path straight. And that was inspired by 3 different sections of the Bible. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would not have told you. I'm going there to prepare a place for you. John 14:1 and 2. The Lord will rescue me from every evil attack and will bring me safely to his kingdom, to his heavenly kingdom. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen. 2 Timothy 4:18. And then lastly, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Welcome, Langley. Trusting in God is definitely worth it. He's led me to some really crazy places. I actually started today off with someone requesting some photos for our new website for Project Serve. So I was going through some of those things, and it was crazy. In Project Serve, we did things and interacted with people, and everything from playing like guitar in the middle of an open field to building a roof and a structure in a foreign land and doing electrical work. It was crazy stuff that he led us to, and playing, like, some of my favorite moments are like these small moments of like playing soccer and the other Jeremy scoring from Costa Rica, and it was just like, oh man, yeah, that was good times. Or not Costa Rica, sorry. Oh yeah, Costa Rica. Yeah. For some reason, I had Costa Rica and Puerto Rico in my mind different. That happens sometimes. Yeah, we went to Antigua. All right. Now, talking about trusting in God, Saul has just learned to do that. Saul had a very low view on himself and his family and his worth, especially in within Israel and the Jewish people. He saw himself as unimportant. Yet God's like, no, you're one of the most important people right now. And he started to own that as he started to trust God. And God took time to help him trust him, which also was pretty cool. And Saul is now king. Saul has started to own that. People were mocking him, and he's like, I don't care if you're mocking me. I know who God made me to be. So I'm just going to leave that at the door. And then we learned about the king of the Amorites, who had some Israelites living among them and gouged out. Ow. My cat just jumped up, but claws out. The Amorite king had all the Israelites living among them, and he gouged out their eyes. And 7,000 men actually escaped the Amorites, and that's where our story is going to continue. So, 1 Samuel chapter 11. Join in with me on the Bible app, on your phone, Bible Gateway if you're on a computer. Better yet, in a physical copy, I'm reading out of something called the New Living Translation. So I'll give you guys an extra second while I take a sip. And let's continue with the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 11. About a month later, King Nahash of the Ammon led his army against the Israelite town of Jabesh Gilead. And all the citizens of Jabesh asked for peace. Make a treaty with us, and we will be your servants, they pleaded. All right, Nahash said, but only under one condition. I will gouge out the right eye of every one of you as a disgrace to all Israel. Give us 7 days to send messengers throughout Israel, replied the elders of Jabesh. If no one comes to save us, we will agree to your terms. When the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and told the people about their plight, everyone broke into tears. Saul had been plowing a field with his oxen, and when he returned to town, he asked, "What's the matter? Why is everyone crying?" So they told him about the message from Jabesh. Then the Spirit of God came powerfully upon Saul, and he became very angry. He took 2 oxen and cut them into pieces and sent the messengers to carry them throughout Israel with this message. This is what will happen to the oxen of anyone who refuses to follow Saul and Samuel into battle. And the Lord made the people afraid of Saul's anger, and all of them came out together as one. When Saul mobilized the Bezek, he found that there were 300,000 men from Israel and 30,000 men from Judah. So Saul sent the messengers back to Jabesh Gilead to say, "We will rescue you by noontime tomorrow." There was great joy throughout the town when the message arrived. The men of Jabesh then told their enemies, "Tomorrow we will come out to you, and you can do to us whatever you wish." But before dawn the next morning, Saul arrived, having divided his army into 3 detachments. He launched a surprise attack against the Amorites and slaughtered them the whole morning. The remnant of their army was so badly scattered that no 2 of them were left together. When the people exclaimed to Samuel, "Now, where are those men who said, 'Why should Saul rule over us?' Bring them here, and we will kill them." But Saul replied, "No one will be executed today, for today the Lord has rescued Israel." Then Samuel said to the people, "Come, let us all go to Gilgal and to renew the kingdom." So they all went to Gilgal, and in Solomon ceremonially before the Lord, and they made Saul king. Then they offered peace offerings to the Lord, and Saul and all the Israelites were filled with joy. May God add a blessing to the reading of his word. So yeah, things got intense. A bunch of people got slaughtered. There was a military surprise attack. There's a couple things that are interesting. The Amorites, sorry, there's a spider on the wall. The Amorites were like, hey, surrender or we'll slaughter you. And the people were like, please, 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 please. Yeah, let's just have peace. Let's just get through this. Like, we've been oppressed. We're tired. All of this other stuff. And he's like, fine. Cool. You see all these right-eyed fools that are blinded? I can do that to you, and then we can live in peace. Because no one's coming to save you. No one. And God put Saul in place as king at just the right time to be able to defend the people. And the Amorites got a severe message that now the people of Israel can mobilize. Now they have a ruler that they're not just all scattered, but there's that central place. That central human leadership that a lot of the other kingdoms didn't see. That's one of the pluses that they had with choosing a king, I guess. And it's kind of what the people wanted. But there's a couple things that I also kind of found interesting. One of the big ones was the people were like, those Israelites that shunned you and said that you shouldn't be king, let's go and kill them because you've done a great deed. And Saul's like, no. Israel got saved today. And we see, one, how Saul's not holding the grudge here. And two, like, questioning leadership might not be the worst thing in the world, even though some people think that if you question leadership, like, that should discount you from being within that structure. But Saul goes, no. They didn't believe it. They weren't there, whatever. And I'm going to let that slide. They questioned it, but they're not questioning me. They're questioning God. Let God sort it out. And that's kind of played through here as well. And I thought that was really interesting. And it shows that, at least for this moment, Saul kind of had things together and he knew what he was doing. And yeah, the people that were threatened, they asked for peace. And, it was a high cost to pay. But they ended up finally getting it. And it was interesting. Sometimes it takes some extreme measures to find peace. And I never want to be a world leader and try to have to figure that out. Because I always default to, Jesus said to love your enemies. And, I don't think that means to bomb them. So it's an interesting thing reading through some of these old Testament stories, because there's that conflict that seems to arise. But at the same time, they're establishing the kingdom. They're establishing a lot of this. And so many people want to kill them. And Jesus also said, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. And there's a lot of these kingdoms that are choosing to live by the sword and trying to conquest and conquer land, take people and possessions by force. And Jesus says, well, if you want to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. But he also said to love your enemies. So it's an interesting thing. I would not want to be a world leader and have to juggle those two things. But anyways, let us pray. And then I'll let you guys get on with your Wednesday. We will be playing Jackbox tonight. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll send you a private message with how to join. But yeah. All right. AJC, awesome Jesus Christ. I thank you so much for all that you do for us, for working in the background, for bringing things together at just the right time. Lord, sometimes peace is costly. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's high risk. To live at peace, this one village or wherever it was willing to have their eyes gouged out. I can't even imagine what that would be like. But this angered you, and it angered your servants, and this brutality was met with brutality. Lord, I thank you that we live in a time where it's post-Jesus, where we get to look back at the life of Jesus and not have to meet brutality with brutality, but this was before Jesus. Now we can meet brutality with forgiveness and prayer and hope and love. Back then, those options weren't quite ready. They weren't quite there yet. This is the first kingdom. And everyone that's going against you, these life and death situations is what people listen to. Lord, I pray that you can give us the eyes and the ears to hear and see you at work. See you at work in our enemies' lives, and bring us to a place where we can pray for them, that we can want the best for them. Work on our hearts. But Lord, I thank you for coming and defending your people. You defended them against the brutality that the Amorite king wanted to bestow, because he saw these Israelites as less than. And that is a story of the Jewish people throughout time. People looking down on them. In recent history, we're still living with the fallout of World War II and everything that Hitler did. And this is a theme throughout their lives. So Lord, I pray for our Jewish brothers and sisters, that they can continue to have confidence in you, and that they can get to know you. And I thank you so much for the Jewish people that have also got to the opportunity to meet Jesus and everything that's going on there. This is getting into a whole other area. But yeah, Lord, thank you for protecting us, for guiding us. May you be our King above all others. Thank you. All right. Well, that is 2 Samuel, not 2 Samuel, 1 Samuel, chapter 11 for today. Things are still moving, and we have yet to be introduced to the third main character in the story. I think he'll be coming next week, I think probably around Friday. So, and things get interesting again. So, this is actually this is basically like a daytime soap opera, and it gets crazy. So, thank you for joining me along this journey. Have a fantastic day, and God bless.